What's going on, everyone? So I wasn't really paying attention to my last video. I actually didn't even cover a lot of the details about the gun that you can get from the images. Now, as far as I'm aware, pretty much no one that's making videos anyway has the Taurus GX4 in their hand. So most of this stuff's getting all done from photos, and I'm assuming, the 19th is supposed to be the release day, so all the information will be coming out on the release date. But as of right now, there is no information whatsoever other than for a few photos. So you can actually learn a lot of information about what this handgun is going to provide from the photos, and I wasn't paying attention to that. I didn't cover any of that on my last video. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some photos up over here on the corner, and we're just going to kind of go over some of the details that I noticed about this handgun right away just from the pictures. One of those things, which is something that someone brought up in the comment section, is that this gun has no slide safety. That's going to be a first as far as striker-fired pistols from Taurus that I've seen is no slide safety, because TX22 had a slide safety, the G2C, the G3, the G3C, all of those had slide safeties. The TX9 or TP9, I don't have one of those. The TP9 has a slide safety, so this is going to be the first one I've seen that doesn't have a slide safety. I'm sure they have other safety mechanisms besides just the trigger, to help it have a little bit safer carry. Things like same thing as Glock does, like preventative drop safeties, things like that. So yeah, it appears it does not have a slide safety, so that's going to be a new one. It does have a trigger safety though. Hopefully the stippling is fairly aggressive on it. That's one thing Taurus is really good about in comparison to things like Glock and stuff like that. I've always felt like my Taurus their grips tend to have a little bit more stippling in it that gives you a better grip, and you get a little bit better foundation. And when you are firing the handgun, you don't really feel like you need to add things on like a Fox grip or a Talon grip or anything like that. You feel like pretty good with, or I do anyway, feel pretty good with the handgun without adding any kind of grips onto it, which is not something I can say about Glock. Now that's just my opinion. Everybody's got their own opinions, but I feel like Glock's, like, when my hands get sweaty, it's really hard for me to get my follow-up shots without feeling like I need to adjust and stuff like that. I feel a lot more foundation on G2C and G3 and G3C, especially the G3C. The G3C was very aggressive as far as on the frame. It looks like the mag release is a little bit different. I'm used to the oval shape from Taurus. This one, it's got much more of like a SIG P365 kind of like diamondish shape going on. So curious on the placement and everything, because I know the SIG, that was one of my feelings of, it was very weird trying to drop a mag quickly. It felt like my thumb didn't naturally hit it, and that was just from not having one enough time to really get comfortable with it. So I'm curious with the placement and everything, because I know the Taurus ones, my thumb just goes right over to it with no issues. But it appears to have much more of a SIG design on that. I know someone said that it's like a direct copy of the Ruger Max, and it does look very similar. I'm not doubting that at all. Definitely the frame, but I want to compare it real quick. I'm going to post up some photos of it next to the Springfield Hellcat, as well as next to the SIG P365, because if you look at them, it looks a lot like a P365 to me as far as the shape and everything and the ergos of it. So I feel like it's going to feel a lot like a SIG P365. Kind of hoping for that, actually. I really like that handgun. That's actually been one of my favorite handguns that I've had the pleasure of using over this past year. And so if it kind of follows that, I imagine it's going to be a little bit wider since it is a double stack, and I'm assuming it's a true double stack and not that kind of like halfway double stack like a 43X or something like that. So it might be a little bit wider, so you might get a better grip on it too for someone with a little bit larger hands. But until we get one in hand, we're really just kind of speculating off of photos. I also switched my location on YouTube over to Portugal and found this video of some photos, and it does not have a rail underneath the barrel like the Ruger Max 9. So there's going to be no flashlights, lasers, anything like that. So that is one downside to it, is no rail, but it looks like they're going to be coming out with a optic ready version of it. So that is kind of cool. It appears that you're getting the G3C style sights. It looks like now, not positive, but the rear sight appears to be a Glock rear sight, and the front sight is your standard little Taurus white dot sight. The back sight does look like from the photos it's the same one as the G3C, where it's just kind of like dovetail, whatever you want to call it. Not dovetail, but where you don't have dots, it's just blank, so you just line up the white dot in the front. So it appears it's the same exact sights that are on the G3C based off that photo. Now, they might be completely different, I'm not sure, but it does look like it's going to take your standard Glock sights, which makes aftermarket sights like night sights and stuff going to be super easy to get, so that's a good thing. And then on the frame, back to the grip again, it looks like over past the slide release that you actually have a spot to rest your thumb that's a little textured for when you're gripping with your, if you're right-handed, that's where your left thumb would go. It's going to make shooting it hopefully a little bit better. I know I've rested my thumb in those spots, like the TX22 for instance had an indention right there that felt really good whenever you're holding it, so hopefully that's similar placement and everything lands. Taurus's frames have been really good about the way that their indentions and stuff in the frame, your hands grip on it really well. So hopefully it's the same thing, because with subcompact guns, it's one of the things that I hate the most about shooting them is you feel like you can't get a really good grip on them, or at least me anyway. And so that is one thing that I am really hoping is with their frame design and everything, with how they've done the G2C and the G3C, hopefully they follow up and it's also a really good grip and everything, and you don't have any issues really getting solid foundation and holding on. So it looks like they've taken some time into the design of this and everything, and hopefully it's a really solid firearm. My goal, if I can get a hold of one, is to get one within a month, and we're gonna take it to the range and shoot it and see how it does. Taurus also, I've been seeing it on Facebook a lot. They're posting that they're doing a lot of aftermarket parts. It looks like, I don't know if they're working side by side. I haven't researched much, but they got like barrels for the G2C and the G3C, like different colors and stuff. I don't think there's anything special with them. It's just, they're not like threaded barrels or anything. You can still get them through Lakeline, but it appears that they are making different barrels. They've got night sights now that are directly from them. So it looks like they're kind of stepping towards the aftermarket side and trying to bring some things for their consumers to let them customize or whatever they want to do with their pistol. So hopefully that continues and we keep getting support for these handguns. I'm a big fan of them. Some people are kind of iffy about Taurus, but I feel like they're pretty good firearms, and I've had no real issues with mine, but that's a completely different conversation. Hope you found this video informational. If you did, if you would, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Tons more information to come on this. I'm not going to make another video on it until I got it, just because speculating off of photos, you can only do so much. Yeah, that's what I got for you, and hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to y'all later.